And from the Laguna Woods PC Club, I want to welcome Gary Russell to the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we have the PC Club. Tell us what the mission is behind the club and what you guys kind of do.
Right. Well, we are here to help in the tech side of things with computers and on the Windows side of things, because there's also the Mac Club. So we have three elements to our PC Club, right? We have the Learning Center, which is where we teach a lot of classes. And then the corresponding workshop, which is right next door, is where you can come in as a member and use any of the computers, any of the software we have, our scanners, our printers, even shredders, right?
Okay.
So they operate together. And then the third component is the tax program, which has found a home in the PC Club, and we donate our facilities for that.
And I imagine that's going strong right now, right?
It is crazy right now. Yeah, people are backed up in the hallway sometimes. So Barbara Harris leads that, who's been on this show
Right,
before.
we talked earlier this month, maybe?
Yes,
last month.
earlier, right. She does a great job with that, and she's also on our board of directors, too.
So one of the things I think that people get bogged down in the world of PCs and computers is so much new technology goes through our PCs now, on our phones too, and that kind of thing. So what are some of the things that you guys try to tackle and have to keep up on, really?
And it is a challenge, is that we try to modernize things. So what people had questions on 10 years ago isn't quite applicable today, right? So before it used to be, how do I use Windows? How do I use Microsoft Word and Excel? And those are still of some interest, but now we're shifting more towards newer things like tablets, iPhones, and AI and cyber threats and that kind of thing.
Do you find folks are coming to you asking about using AI or trying to understand it a little bit more? And how do you venture people into that world?
Right, it's like the old expression of eating an elephant one bite at a time. It is such a massive subject that no one really can claim that they sort of own that.
Right,
but we are trying to do our best to stay up on it. We have a class coming up in another week or so on generative AI. Before that, it was ChatGPT. This is now going to include Copilot and some of the other aspects of AI, and then from there it branches out because it's such a specialty as well as a large subject.
Yeah, I mean, AI's been around for a while with the little chat things, and when you do a search, there's AI in that. From the early days of Google, they have that parts of that have been there, but now it's emerged as such a thing where you can have a conversation with AI and you can do these things that people are kind of amazed by.
And that's the key aspect of AI, is that it's natural language. So I took a class in ChatGPT, and the biggest thing they teach you is just have a conversation. Use it as a tool, don't use it to replace what you're doing, but use it as a partner and dive deeper. So you get, for example, you do a prompt, you get an answer. Go deeper. Take another layer off one of the answers they give you. It's a good way to use it.
Yeah, I've used it to organize this in a bullet point kind of way, or things like that. Things I've come up with. I've done that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, this is really helpful. It saved me 20 minutes of just the shuffling of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's that technology. I think. What do you think people are concerned about the most in terms of scared of AI? Because there's that intimidation factor of here Terminator movies and
yeah, exactly. There could be two parts to this when you think about it. One could be it is so powerful and so overwhelming that I don't know how to get started, right? Or it's scary just to get started in it. And for that, people should not be scared. You just try it out, experiment, play with it. The second part is probably more what you're referring to, which is it's going to take over and people will no longer be in control of what it can do. And I think that's a long way off. And I think, like a lot of technology, it sounds scary at the time, and then we get used to it, and then we incorporate it into our daily lives. But at first, it seems very intimidating.
Yeah, we had a little glitch here with our delivery to TV in the homes, and people found out the hard way that they don't know how to work their smart TVs.
You're right. Well,
do you guys help with that as well?
Perfect segue. Yeah. So one of the things that I'm now doing is I'm incorporating smart TVs and streaming into a class. So I teach a class on home networking, and then I've added on to that streaming, and then added on to that how to do channel channel scans in case that problem comes up again, right? And we're not there yet, but we're going to have smart TVs in the workshop and in the learning center where people can actually come and practice. And even though every manufacturer is different, you know, LG versus Samsung, the basic notion of how you do a channel scan is about the same.
Okay, okay. Another thing that I know is a big deal in this community, with any senior community, is theft and cyber crimes and identity theft and things like that. And people clicking on something and all of a sudden, you know, it's when all I did was click, all I did was do this, and all of a sudden, boom, everything was gone.
That's right. And just yesterday, I did another class on this very subject called Safe Computing. And we get into everything from viruses to phishing scams to social engineering scams. And then we branch off into identity theft and things like that. And, you know, I think we all heard about this is like the bad guys are kind of really sharp and they're really staying on top of things, unfortunately. Even after the LA fires, a lot of us got emails that said, donate now, or do you want to help? And they tugged at our hearts, right?
Right.
And they were scams,
yeah.
Some of them.
I clicked on one the other day in this office, and it was a fake scam set up by VMS. And you clicked on this. Now you have to take a cyber security training. So I actually had to do that.
One way to keep you honest.
Everybody is just to say that. Just say, hey, that happens to everybody, and don't be afraid of that. Don't tell people what's going on. Let people know so they can help you. And it's the important part.
Exactly. And I would say that class has been very popular, and it's one that requires me to constantly research. Because new things are coming up every day, and the threats are getting more sophisticated all the time.
And in terms of people trying to save their data, save their photos, those kinds of things, the cloud is kind of this nebulous thing, a good word for that, that people don't quite understand. Do you help people with that
We
too?
sure do. We've got a great instructor who teaches a class on cloud computing. And the way I tell people, just think of the cloud as a computer somewhere else. That's all really, demystified a little bit. But he walks through how to save files, how to actually use files, and you may not even want to store them locally, because internet is so pervasive that many times you can just, get access to these wherever you are, so you don't have to store them locally. There are pros and cons, and we go through that in the class. And then in the workshop, you can go over and practice and upload or download some of your files and photos to your account.
And that's a great, like you said, sometimes I used to get stuck in the older days, that's at my home computer, I don't have that file with me, or I can't access that kind of thing.
Right.
And that you have that universal ability to access things with the cloud.
That's less and less of a concern unless you're out in the wilderness somewhere. But you can have access from the airport, from the train, often when you're on travel and so forth.
Some of the other things you guys do that people are really interested in is like, their genealogy searches and things like that. And there are areas where you guys help out folks with that? Big
topic. Yes. We have a special speaker on that. I think it was November or so of last year at our general meeting. And then there was a class just yesterday I was watching that it was on Family Search, which is a free program that people can use, and they can come in and get one-on-one help. They had a volunteer for almost every individual in the class that will help you with your genealogy and your search and how to get an account going and what to look for and how to build a tree. There's
some basic things going on here in the village that are just folks that, again, sometimes that aren't as computer savvy, just have challenges with. Like, I want to have a guest pass for my niece or my nephew or my daughter coming in, and they don't know how to navigate that. Do you kind of walk people through our own website here at VMS in the village? And
yeah, we sure do. We saw an opportunity there to work with Elise Royce on the website. And we now have a class taught by Jeff Cherry on the tools like Dwelling Live and guest passes and how to navigate around that website, how to make golf appointments, tee times. And so there's a class on that as well that you'll get one-on-one help too if you want to get your account set up on Dwelling Live, and here's how you submit a VMS request and so forth, and use all the tools that are available.
Okay. Everybody needs a password for everything. And then you have to change it every 2 weeks, 6 months, whatever it is, and for multiple things, and don't never use the same password. I manage mine terribly. I'll tell you that right off the bat. How do you give advice on how to manage that? Because it's like, oh, I don't know the password for that. I haven't used that account in whatever.
Right. The way I describe that is that there is a reward risk spectrum, right? And you can be fully protected and go slow, or you can open up a little bit and get access to your favorite websites faster if you auto log in and things like that. Where each of us sits on that spectrum is a personal choice. If you never use the same password twice, you're more on the protective side, more risk averse. If you use the same password everywhere, that's probably not a good idea either, but it's probably the fastest. So we go through where the trade-offs are in there and then let people make their own choice on how to store their passwords and use them.
And another thing that, generationally, we all take pictures on our phone now, but there's so many people, especially in this retirement community, who have those photo albums and have all those things, and they want to preserve them and share them with all of their family members. And you guys help with that as well, right?
A little bit, yes. Both the Mac Club and the PC Club do that, and I just met with the other tech clubs, the Camera Club and Video Club, and they do a great job too of how to do photo albums and things like that. So we're all trying to pitch in and help people with how to best store photos or use special photo software that's available in services as well.
What do you love about running the PC Club and being part of this?
I've been part of tech for 40 years, so this just extends that. And the opportunity to modernize us and move us into the current times is just something that is, I'm learning all the time too, as well as teaching. So, we just got a great team, and I think we're providing a good service to the community here.
Absolutely. And you guys meet pretty regularly. What are your meeting times? And we have the PC Club right here in this building, right? And
we do. It's right down the hall, third floor, community center. We have both the education, learning part, and then the workshop right next door. And so it's convenient to go back and forth between the two. And we have a general meeting coming up where Paul's going to be
Paul Ortiz, right?
Yeah.
Talking about broadband.
Broadband is one of our favorite subjects, and we'll be staying very close to that and educating folks on what they can expect and what it's going to require and why it's good and all that. And that's why the emphasis on streaming as well, because they just go hand in hand.
Absolutely. Well, Gary Russell, doing the Lord's work over at the PC Club, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You're watching This Day on Village Television. We'll be right back.